Good morning, distinguished guests, friends, and families. I would like to welcome you, everyone, to the City of Boston's Black Veterans Appreciation Brunch. I am Barry Reeves, and I will be your Master of Ceremonies this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the presentation of the colors by the USS Constitution Color Guard and remain standing for the national anthem sung by the Boston Black Catholic Gospel Choir.
Mark time. Mark. Detail. Off. Right face. Silent. Mark.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly screaming, and the rockets' red blend, the bombs bursting mid-air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order. March. Right face. Forward. March.
Please be seated. The City of Boston honors the service, bravery, and sacrifice and achievements of African Americans in our armed forces. Black Americans have a storied history of serving their countries with distinction, and today we thank them for their service and bravery and sacrifices and achievements. African American veterans have fought against foreign enemies as well as discrimination and segregation at home. They have shown us the bravery beyond measure and the ability to conquer incredible odds. They have served with excellence despite insurmountable odds. This month and every month, we honor them for their service and we thank them for our freedoms. At this time, I would like to ask all veterans to please stand and let us take a moment to say thank you for your sacrifices and service. The City of Boston's Department of Veteran Services advocates for our veterans and their families by connecting them with the benefits, service, and resources they've earned. They find innovative ways to support veterans, service members, and their families to live healthy and thriving lives in the City of Boston. At this time, I would like to introduce a man who has made a difference in the lives of veterans within the City of Boston. Commissioner Robert Santiago.
Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. I think we could do a little bit better than that. All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. That's a whole lot better. First, I want to thank Barry for wanting to be the Master of Ceremonies again this year. And thank you for your service as well, and also for being a very active member of our community. I want to welcome our mayor, Mayor Michelle Wu. We have our Chief of Human Services, Jose Masso, the Executive Director of the Office of Black Male Advancement, Frank Farrow. Sure. We have District Attorney Kevin Hayden, Chief of Operations for the Boston Fire Department, Rodney Marshall. With us also, we have Electa Tavares, who's the president of the Boston Vulcan Society. There he is. And we have Counselor at Large, Counselor Kenzie Bach, but also Counselor at Large, Erin Murphy is here as well. And we also have Counselor at Large, Brutzi Lujan. There we go. I was practicing. I was practicing a little bit earlier. Not here today is City Council President Ed Flynn. He's actually on his way to DC. So he's traveling to be a part of the DAV National Conference. I will be joining him tomorrow. I think it's very important that the Boston Veterans' Voices is also heard on the national stage. So I'll be there tomorrow. This event is an intergenerational event. Soon there are going to be cadets here from South Boston JROTC XL High School. There are also active duty service members and their families. There are veterans from many eras. As well as we all know, Boston's legacy of African American military service dates back to the Revolutionary War. You can see that legacy, yes. And you can see that legacy throughout our city. The 54th Regiment is memorialized on Boston Common. Ramsey Park in Roxbury is named after Captain David Ramsey, who played there as a kid. He served in Vietnam, where he was killed in action. And of course, Gordine Park in Union Square. In October of 2021, we broke ground to create a park worthy of the memory of such a great man. The great man is General Edward O. Gordine. But it's also going to be a place of reflection to honor the service and sacrifices of our black veterans who not only faced bullets of war, but also the weapons of discrimination and racism. Today, we celebrate and bring awareness to the accomplishment of so many who served and those who continue to serve our country. The accomplishments of General Gordine served as a role model for many young black men and women who see the importance of service to not only our country, but to our city and our community. General Gordine was a man of many firsts. His military service in a segregated unit reminds us of black war veterans. He joined the Student Training Corps while a student at Harvard University. In 1941, he entered World War II and was assigned to a segregated unit, the 372nd Infantry Regiment. He also served as commanding officer of the 272nd during the Korean War, excuse me, the last segregated military unit in the United States. After his military service, he went on to become the first black and the first indigenous person to be appointed to the Superior Court judge here in Massachusetts. Yes. From Crispus Attucks to the members of the 54th Volunteer Infantry Regiment in the Civil War, to the Tuskegee Airmen of World War II, to those who served in Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan, black service members and veterans personify the mission of what is going to be the General Edward O. Gordine African American Veterans Park in Union Square. The park will be officially dedicated and opened later this year. At this time, I want to recognize the hard work and dedication of the Veterans and Family of Gordian Park Committee, who for many years have tirelessly worked hard in making this park a reality. So those in the committee, if you can, please stand. And I know the president of the committee is here, Haywood Fennell. He's probably out there getting more signatures for his stamp collection. So if you haven't signed it, please do, because he will hunt you down. We need to keep these stories alive. We need to show our gratitude to all who served our country. That's a big part of the work at the Mayor's Office of Veteran Services. And it's especially important to honor those who served while facing discrimination and injustice here at home. We recognize the major impacts that Black Bostonians have always had in our communities. That's the spirit behind the city's Black History Month celebrations this year. This work is very important to our mayor and the great team that she has assembled that I am very proud to be a part of. As for me, I know I can't do this alone. So I want to recognize my staff this year today from the Office of Veteran Services. Come on up. We got Daryl, Brian, Bella, Pilar, and John here, and Pierre, who's outside, probably helping Haywood get his signatures. Oh, and Latasha too. There she is. Okay. At this time, I would like to call up Councilor at Large, Erin Murphy. Erin is the chair of the city's Council on Veteran Services.
Hello, everyone. How are we today? It's great to see everyone. So thank you all for being here today to appreciate and honor all of our Black veterans. It's hard to believe, but it is my second annual Black Veterans Appreciation Brunch, and it's great to see so many friends across the city, so many familiar faces that I've got to meet in my new role as City Councilor. Mr. Odom, Miss Vicky, Mr. Fennell, Craig DeOld, and many others, so I don't want to go down that road of naming people. But thank you to Commissioner Santiago, and also to your staff. Thank you also for recognizing them. You do so much, and in my role as the Chair of Veteran Services, anytime anyone in our office needs any support or help, everyone is right there for us, so thank you for all you do. Also, as a daughter of a Marine and Navy veteran, I was fortunate to grow up in a veteran household, and all of the positive role modeling many of you, all of you in this room know that brings with it. So I also, as the Chair of Veteran Services on the Boston City Council, am committed to honoring African American military and civil service at all levels by telling their stories and supporting and uplifting their contributions to this country. Many of your contributions and sacrifices, unfortunately, have gone unnoticed. I know that also before I became a city councilor, I spent over 20 years as a Boston public school teacher, and it wasn't always easy to find the stories or the history that we know we need to teach our children. And I've always said that we need to make sure we're not just teaching it during February, that we're teaching it all year. And I always wondered why we picked the month where there was a school vacation week, so it really only came down to about 14 days that we really dedicated that time in school. So maybe we can work on that, but not today. Also, some of the facts that I know all of you in this room know, but it's important to uplift. 43% of our 1.3 million men and women in active duty in the United States military are people of color. Of the 41 most senior, yes, clap, commanders in the military, only 2 are Black. We can and need to do better. Please know that I'm an ally. My colleagues here on the council are also an ally, and thank you, Commissioner Santiago, for mentioning President Flynn. When he was voted president of the council, that meant he no longer could chair committees, so he was a little reluctant, but was willing to give me the chair of Veteran Services, but has also been a wonderful supporter along, this path I have, because it's an enormous responsibility, I feel, to make sure that we're taking care of our veterans across the city. I do want to uplift, and I know my council colleagues, Councilor Louis-Jean and Bach are here, that in October we filed a resolution to modify the name of Dudley Park. Commissioner Santiago mentioned it, but the Justice Edward O. Gordine Veteran Memorial Park in Roxbury should be and deserves to have that name on it. His accomplishments include being the first black judge appointed to Roxbury District Court, the first black person in New England appointed to the Massachusetts Supreme Court, the first man in history to break 25 feet in the long jump, and a silver medalist for the United States of the 1924 Paris Olympics, just to name a few of his amazing accomplishments. So I believe that his story and countless others like those we are honoring today, like Lieutenant Colonel Hinson, who I know from his dedication to the students at Excel High, with the JROTC students that are here today, and I can't wait for them to come in. Also, I see right up front here Lillian O'Neill, the Poet Laureate, who I see at countless events around the city. It's a joy, and we're honored to have you here in our city, and I'm glad we're honoring you today. And Kenneth Perry, like myself, he's from Dorchester, who joined the U.S. Marines and is now a leader in the food service industry, who also is feeding us today. So I do want to thank his company and all of the servers today. Thank you to all of you. So with that being said, I'm glad to be here, glad to honor you today, but know that I'm committed to making sure that we honor you every day and do better, because we need to. There's no excuse. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilor Murphy. Up next is going to be Councilor at Large, Ruthie Eugene. Actually, she has connections to the Office of Veteran Services. Her cousin, here, Darius, who's here, is an Air Force, he's a Navy veteran. I can't say he's Air Force. He's a Navy veteran, and he is one of our most go-to veterans benefit specialists in the Office of Veteran Services. Councilor.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm glad you corrected that, because I know how people are. Navy, right? He's Navy. There he is right there, my cousin. It's really enjoying going to City Hall and to see family. But the hard thing is that, those cousins that you grew up with, kind of like Little Bobo or something, and then you got to be in a space and like, what's his government name? So it's always hard, because I got to look at him and I want to call him what I call him as family, and I got to like, no, that's not what y'all know in Massa. I thank you for your service here. Thank you for all you do. It's really great to know that our city is really being served by people who not only have served this city, but have served this country. And so we are grateful for you, Commissioner, grateful for your leadership in every way, grateful for the talent and the diversity that you bring to the city. And we will get my name at some point. It is okay. I have only been on the city council, this is my second year, was elected at large in 2021. And so the name is Ruthie Louis-Jean. I like to tell people Louis, like a Louis Vuitton bag, and Jen, like your friend Jen. You put them together, Louis-Jean. That's the last name. Yes. I am grateful to be here. I won't belabor the moment, but I just want to thank you all for your service. So many people in this country, so many of us, we have our freedoms because of the sacrifice that you all make. And too often, especially for our Black veterans, you fight for this country and this country doesn't fight for you. And it is incredibly important that we put our energy and our time to all of you, because I wouldn't be here, my story wouldn't be possible, the freedoms that I experienced, whether I'm here or traveling abroad, would not be possible if you all haven't paved the way with people like my cousin, people like the commissioner, people like the council president Ed Flynn. So I thank you all for your service. Like Poet Laureate Lillian O'Neill, I see you. Hello. I wanna thank you all for your service, and I also want to apologize. I think it's really important to do that apologizing when we miss the mark, when we don't show up for you in the ways that we should. And so I, now as an elected official, but also as a citizen, apologize for the ways that we don't show up for you in the ways that we should. And I commit myself to doing better on the city council, whether it comes to things that are really important and symbolic, like the renamings that need to happen to honor their work and the sacrifice, but also the material support, right? To make sure that all of our basic needs are being met, that you have a place to call home, that you have food at the table and you're not struggling paycheck to paycheck or month to month to meet your basic needs, that you have good quality health care, that your kids are able to access jobs with a living wage, and that everyone can not only survive but really thrive. And that's what my commitment is, to do that work every day on the Boston City Council and to learn from all of you on how we can do better. So thank you, happy Black History Month, and thank you for your service.
Thank you, Councilor. And I would attest that Bobo does great work for us. One person who I would also like to recognize is Sam Dillon, the president of Boston Firefighters Local 718, and who allowed us in this wonderful space. Thank you, Sam. Now I would like to call up the executive director of the Office of Black Male Advancement. He also has family members who served in our country as well. I would like to welcome up Frank Farrow.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's an honor to be here. I stand here in the midst of giants who have devoted their lives and sacrifice to make sure that I'm able to grow older, that my children is able to grow older. So I just want to make sure that I acknowledge that I appreciate you. I thank you, all of our veterans, all of our service members. I want to thank Commissioner Santiago and the entire team at the Boston Veteran Services for organizing the annual Black Veterans Appreciation Brunch and the work that you do every day to honor and support our veterans in the city of Boston. Thank you. During Black History Month, our office, every day, me and my team, we acknowledge the legacy of Black Boston. And coincidentally, yesterday, our office acknowledged General Gordine and his life, his legacy, and his work. So I'm also, happy to hear that in 2023, that park that it acknowledges and memorializes General Gordine as well as African American veterans is going to be stood up. There's a lot of work happening in the city, and there's a lot of work that we still need to do. And I look forward to working in partnership with our mayor and Commissioner Santiago to make sure that we are moving the needle and make sure we are supporting our veterans. I stand before you as the grandson of U.S. Army Corporal Leon Anthony Watson Sr., who served in Korea. The cousin of U.S. Marine Corps Sergeant Paul L. Edwards, both who are buried at Mount Home Cemetery in our veteran section. I know firsthand what it's like to have family members dedicate their lives, sacrifice for the betterment of us all. And I'm committed to making sure that in my role, that we're supporting all Black residents in the city of Boston, and that we're making a priority to make sure that we're doing our best to open our doors and create support and work in partnership to support our Black veterans. I wanted to make sure that we acknowledge all of the recipients that are being honored today. Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Henson, Ms. Lillian O'Neill, and Mr. Kenneth Perry. Again, I want to thank all of our veterans, service members. My history, my legacy is because of you, because of my family members, and I'm thankful for your sacrifice. And I look forward to the work that we're going to do to support you, our current service members. And I sit here a little emotional. This is not my first brunch, and it will not be my last. But when I look in the crowd and see so many black faces, and see all of the sacrifice and the legacy and the family members that supported all of you, I'm humbled, I'm honored, I'm moved, and most of all, I'm thankful for all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank, for those kind words. I will say that last week, Frank and I met in his office, and we talked about how we could collaborate and help each other to honor our veterans, to honor our black community. And I'm very much looking forward to working with you, Frank. And it's going to be a great ride. Now it's my honor to welcome up and introduce our mayor, Mayor Michelle Wu. She's been a huge advocate and supporter of our veterans, not as mayor, but I mean for years. So thank you, Mayor Wu.
Please give a round of applause for the best Veterans Commissioner in the entire country. I was a little bit hoping that picture wasn't going to go up there because that's me when I'm rested and have lots of makeup on. I'm sitting here now after 5 days of school vacation. Parents, it's not a vacation. You have the kids with you and everything. Thank you all for taking the time after a very crazy couple years, a very crazy 5 days for those who are caregivers for any of our students who are out of school this week, and for all of the collective effort and energy and sacrifices that are represented and embodied in this room. I want to just triple thank my colleagues in elected office, those who are recognized on the City Council. Oh, and I actually also see State Representative Brandy Fluker-Oakley is here as well. Thank you for your position. So to Councilors Eugene and Bach and Murphy, it is an honor to serve alongside you. I will also echo the thanks to City Council President Flynn, who is speaking on behalf of all of Boston and DC in the next couple of days. And District Attorney Hayden, thank you for all that you do and for the partnership that we have. We are here with, I think, some of the city team was recognized, but there, in addition to our amazing Veterans Affairs, Veterans Commission staff, and Chief of Human Services, we also have our Chief of Communications, Jessica Pierre here, and her team. Thank you, Emma. And also thank you again to our firefighters for hosting us here, Local 718, the Vulcan. We say thank you for your service throughout the year, as we should, but it is at this event in particular, and at the commemorations when we are gathered in spaces like Carter Post or Gordine Park, that phrase really takes on layers of depth and meaning. Service, when it comes to our veterans of color, but especially our black veterans, our African American veterans, who fought for a vision and an ideal of freedom and liberation that was not the reality at home. That is the embodiment of what it means to give, to serve, to sacrifice. And it is only thanks to the sacrifices that you and your families have made for our society, our community, that we are able to stand here today and to say thank you, taking for granted often the many benefits of our democracy and our freedom that you all have secured for us. And so, thank you for your service, for all that comes along with it. I want to especially recognize military and veterans' families military families, Gold Star families, who are serving right alongside our service members. We, in the city of Boston and under the leadership of Commissioner Santiago, see you as just as critical of our constituents and look to follow your lead in understanding the services that are still needed and the gaps that we still need to close. The awardees speak for themselves. What more can we add except to thank you for giving us the honor of allowing us to recognize you with all of the incredible leadership and dedication and contributions that you have already made. Lieutenant Colonel Hinson, in your work at the Justice Department and in your ongoing mentorship of young folks at the JROTC program at Excel High, I've seen the sternness that comes out of love for making sure all of our young JROTC members have that firm example, and I see the joy and the love that you pour into this. And so whether it is outside a VFW post or at one of our parades, leaving from City Hall Plaza and showing the world what it means and having our young people represented in that ideal of service, thank you for all that you do to keep the next generation coming up behind us. Ms. Lillian O'Neill, we are so blessed to not only have your example and your legacy of service, but the gift of your words as a poet. Every time I see Ms. O'Neill, I keep saying, we all need to make sure she is published and to have your book of poems and poetry forever as an example for us. I'm going to continue working on that alongside you and your family. The last time that I heard Ms. O'Neill read her work in public was at the Veterans Day event at Gordine Park. And we are counting down the weeks now, and I'm so eager and so thankful to the committee there, from Mr. Fennell and Ms. Jumata and everyone who's been involved, the family and loved ones of Edward O. Gordine, to ensure that the city of Boston, right in the heart of our city, will forever have a space and a permanent dedication so that we can hold up the example of not only one of the preeminent examples, but all African American veterans in our country. And I think I may be holding up the way of getting to the specialty of Mr. Kenneth Perry, who is not only a veteran of the Marine Corps, who discovered his passion for cooking while in the service, but continues to put those skills to help empower the community, and has been catering this annual brunch since it first started in 2017. So from our nourishment in the form of food or poetry or mentorship, we are so grateful and so thankful of all the ways that you pour into our community. Congratulations, and our city is incredibly stronger and richer because of you. I want to make one final acknowledgement today of the keynote speaker, Mr. Stephen Boyd, who made history last year as both the first Black service member to be awarded the rank of Chief Warrant Officer 5 and also for being the longest tenured Black aviator in our Commonwealth's National Guard. I think many of us in this room know and have lived that often being the first can mean that in many rooms you're also the only. And so thank you to all those in this room for ensuring that that we are constantly changing that fact and pushing open the doors for all those who are following in your footsteps. Thank you so much for your service. It is an honor to represent you all, to be here with you today.
Thank you, Mayor Wu. I will say something about Mayor Wu. I remember a couple of years ago, we were walking the route of the Veterans Day Parade, and she at the time was a mayor-elect. She had 2 young kids with her. She was able to still, wave at the crowd, handshake, talk to people, and still ask me questions about what is needed to be done in the veterans community. So with all that multitasking, I knew she was going to be okay. Now I'm just going to turn it back over to our Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you, Commissioner. Well, I'm going to get off the stage and I know what we're here for, to get some great food, huh? Yes, yes, yes. So thank you to Mr. Perry and the team for serving us this wonderful meal. And so at this time, please feel free to take part in the meal. Thank you.